A few days ago, I posted an article onto my social media. Really interesting subject. And it was to do with quitting. And it was a video op-ed from the New York Times. Absolutely powerful, short 5-minute video. And I'd encourage you after this to watch it. If you go onto YouTube and just type up "the case for quitting," and it's literally a 5-minute watch, but my gosh, did it stop me in my tracks. It was quite amazing. Gosh, and it really presented a case for a different mindset when you hear the word quitting. And I fully agreed with everything on it. It talked about how quitting has a very negative connotation, right? From a real early age, we were taught that quitting was a bad thing. It meant that you were giving up, right? And this article presents the case that that's not necessarily so. And boy, could and can I relate to that big time. And it actually used Simone Biles as an example. That name sounds familiar. Simone is a US Olympic athlete, represented the US and the Japan Games this year, and quit during the Games. Not fully quit, because she did go on to win a silver, I think, towards the end. But she was favoured to clean up gold medals all over the place. And she quit to protect her mental health. And this op-ed presents the case that it's actually worked in her favour now, because she's more powerful than she was before that. And it really got me thinking, because I can relate. I quit last year, funnily enough, not by choice, by circumstances. And if you know a little about my journey, I actually lost my job last year, June 2020. Terrifying. 52, right? Terrifying. And when I say I quit, I was desperate never to let that happen again. Not to be vulnerable. And it was because of COVID. I couldn't have seen it coming. But I was desperate to find a way that I was going to protect myself. I was never going to be left vulnerable like that ever again. And the last job that I worked in was the most toxic environment. I was the most unhappy working than I'd ever been in my life. So gosh, when I think to the person I am now and how I feel now, sitting here talking to you at about 7:30 in the morning, when otherwise I would have been stuck in traffic going to a job that I hated, but it paid the bills. How much life has changed. I decided I never wanted to go back to that. I couldn't understand why at 52 I was out of work. I did nothing wrong. But I didn't dwell on it for too long. But I knew I wanted to do things differently. And that's when a whole new journey for me began. You know, I'm 14 months looking back on that time and where my life is now compared to then. That one decision to quit the status quo, and that's what I was quitting. I didn't want to go back to what I had done for years. I didn't want to go back to, you know, being a semi-workaholic because of the demands of my job. I didn't want to go back to how I feel when I wake up every morning going to work. I didn't want to go back to how I'd feel on a Sunday evening when I knew I was going back to work the next morning. I didn't want to go back to always being tied to my work phone. I go home in the evening, I'd still have to answer messages, answer emails. I was never away from it. I didn't want to go back to any of those things. I wanted to take control of my life, and I was willing to take a chance at it. And it definitely felt like I was taking a chance, but I also felt, you know, what have I got to lose? I'm going to try this. And if it doesn't work, at least I'll know that I tried it. But I knew that I was going to regret it for years to come if I didn't at least try it. And when I say I tried it, I fully committed to it right from the get-go. It was a steep learning curve, and it definitely continues to require commitment. But I started with a blank page like everybody else. I started learning how to market online in August. In November, at the end of October, early November, I launched my own online business. And this is October 2021. My company has grown every single month since I started. Still blows my mind. And the lifestyle that I live now is exactly what I'd hoped it was going to be. And those negative feelings that I had in my previous life, working life, they're gone. They're just gone. So I can relate to quitting. And I would agree with what the New York Times op-ed put out there, that hold on, quitting is not necessarily a negative thing. It can be the person saying, I have had enough. They actually use an image of a hamster wheel and a person running on the hamster wheel. And that's what life can be. Just constantly running on that hamster wheel and no way to get off it. And I'm here to tell you, there is a way to get off it. It's scary, it's going to take work, it's going to take commitment, it's going to take investment, but it's all worth it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Wherever you're watching this, would love to hear your comments. Do drop in some comments below. If you can relate to this and really want to get off that hamster wheel and want to quit, contact me. I can help you. If you're watching this on YouTube, please share it, like it. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe below. As always, I welcome your comments, and have a wonderful rest of your day and your week ahead. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.